Hello, good day, and welcome to another episode of Danso's online biology lecture. Today we'll be talking about the genotype and the phenotype. But firstly, I will start with the phenotype. When we say phenotype, these are the characteristics that we see in a specific organism, like the hair color, the height of the organism, for example, and many, many more. So the phenotype is being expressed by the genotype and environmental factors. The gene is what is responsible for expressing the phenotype, and the second one responsible for expressing the phenotype is the environmental factor. So I'll give a brief explanation of how the gene and the environmental factor are able to express the phenotype of an organism. The gene is what stores the information in our DNA, the information that we inherited from our parents, the mom and the dad. So when we inherit the information, so for the information to be expressed, for people to see it, for it to be expressible, it has to be passed via the central doma. The central doma is simply the transcription, translation, and the protein synthesis of information that is encoded in the gene. So if this information is being transcribed, translated into protein, then it becomes a visible characteristic. And the second one is the environmental factor. The environment we live has a great impact on what kind of qualities and characteristics that we are going to possess or express. I will give another example about that. For example, if two kids are born in the same region and these kids or these two people are then separated, so one of the kids is taken to a region where the temperature is high temperature, a region where the temperature is high, and the other kid is taken to a cold region. So there is an enzyme that is responsible for expression of the coloration of human being. The enzyme is called melanin. This melanin at high temperature, like body temperature for example, it is activated, and when it is activated, the melanin, as it is responsible for the coloration, for skin coloration, therefore at high temperature it will be active, and hence it will produce more skin coloration, and the kid that is living in the region with high temperature, the skin will be seen as dark. For the other kid that is living in the cold region, this melanin enzyme will be very less active, or it might be inactivated as well. So due to the less activity or the inactivation of the melanin enzyme, its production of the dark coloration will be very, very less, and therefore the kid that is living in the cold region will be seen light, with a light skin, in comparison to the kid that is living in the high temperature region. That is all for the phenotype, and thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, you've heard that for phenotype, I believe there is no question for that. High melanin concentration and low melanin concentration from my colleague. That is what is responsible to shape your measurable characters like the height, the weight, the color, the hair type, whether it is curl or whether it is straight. Okay, now we're going to talk about the genotype. If we say the genotype, here we are going to concentrate more on the genetic makeup. What is the content of your genes or your genetic material? In doing that, you have to consider what you call alleles. Alleles are different versions these are different versions of a gene. So let's say we have an allele called AA and we have an allele called A and A. Now, considering these two alleles of these two individuals, let's say this is Peter and this is John. Now, we see that Peter has an allele A and A. This simply means like this other A, as in capital, it is going to be an allele which is going to show up at all situations, and we call it a dominant allele. So this dominant allele, it is the allele which is going to dictate the colorations or the impact of Peter's genes. And this other one, small a, is going to be recessive. It's going to be a recessive one. That means that this other allele, it is not going to show up in Peter's condition because that is the one which is going to mask it. So that is the dominant one. And in this other situation of Jones, we see that both alleles, A and A, they are all going to be important since they are all dominant. So Peter and John will have different forms of alleles. So genotype is considering the situation where the genetic makeup of an individual is studied. And to tell you the connection between the phenotype and the genotype, phenotype, which is any measurable character that an organism or individual possessed, the external morphological characters, as we mentioned, is dictated by the genotype plus the environmental factors, as the example given earlier. So this is all for today, genotype and phenotype. And thank you so much for watching. Any question or comment that you might have regarding this lecture, feel free to contact the YouTube by sending your comments under the video. We shall get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the video.